Hello, this is Tommy Franks. Welcome to the 4-Star Leadership Podcast, a product of the General Tommy Franks Leadership Institute and Museum. We're here to get a view into the lives of the legacy makers, the movers and the shakers of today, to offer insights from the full spectrum of the leadership community. We'll talk to former 4-star students and explore their leadership development path. We'll work to find out what they are about today and learn from the opportunities they've made for themselves in this world. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome you to this podcast. Remember, leaders are not born, they're developed.
Hello, and welcome to the Core Principles of Leadership with General Tommy Franks. I'm your host, Delise Travis. We're on episode number 27 with our guest, Stacy Anders. We'll be talking about Blue Star Mothers of America Incorporated. But before we get into our program, we'll have a word from our major sponsor, REI Oklahoma.
REI Oklahoma is proud to be a part of the General Tommy Franks Leadership Institute in the production and distribution of these podcasts, designed to inspire leaders and difference makers. At REI Oklahoma, we have been working with small business leaders, entrepreneurs, and people who are driven to succeed for years. Highly motivated people working to own their own businesses, live in their own homes, and make the world a better place. Since its beginning, REI Oklahoma has continued to identify hurdles and deliver holistic solutions to create job growth and help neighborhoods thrive in both rural and urban communities. REI Oklahoma looks forward to visiting with you about helping your business and community grow. Visit reiok.org or call 800-658-2823 to start the conversation.
The LaBarre family is a fourth-generation Oklahoma family. That may not sound like a long time, but our grandfathers were born here, within the Comanche Nation, before the land grants. We are the proudest sponsor of the Tommy Franks 4-Star Leadership Podcast. We hope listeners will heed the words of these distinguished men and women who have served our country at the highest levels and across all walks of life.
Stacy Anders joined Blue Star Mothers Incorporated in her hometown of Santa Cruz, California, after one of her twin sons joined the U.S. Army and was deployed to Korea. After seeing a meeting notice in her local newspaper, she decided to explore what Blue Star Mothers was about and became a member at her very first meeting. Since then, her second twin son has also served the U.S. Army. Stacy has served this wonderful organization on many levels for over 18 years. She has served on the national board for 7 years and now serves as the national president. Join us as we uncover the multiple ways Blue Star Mothers supports our military and each other, how they are organized, and the wonderful sisterhood they share. Let's welcome Stacy Anders. Hello, Stacy Anders, and welcome to our podcast. We're so excited to have you today. And I am excited to have you and want to welcome you and have you tell us a little bit about Blue Star Mothers so we can kind of increase the awareness of what you ladies do. So welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here and honored to be representing all the Blue Star Mothers of America in our group. So we have a lot of very prideful moms who are very proud of their children, serving or veteran. So thank you for having us.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. We're delighted to have it and delighted to air this for the month of May, which is Mother's Day. But I would like for you to go start at the very beginning and tell us just a little bit about how and when Blue Star Mothers got started and where, just kind of a little bit of the history.
Yeah, sure. When it started in 1943 and they put an ad in the Flint, Michigan newspaper. And they said, any mother that has a child serving, you bring this to us and we will start. And that's how we started, by a newspaper clipping that the mother saw, and then they brought it to that first meeting. And quite honestly, that's how I joined. I saw an article in our local newspaper and thought, oh, I should join that. My boys are serving. So, and that was in 2010. So it's worked all these years since 1943 to now.
Yeah, 1943. And then you you were chartered in Congress, and you're
yes. Yeah, we're chartered through Congress. We have EIN, all of our chapters. Last time I heard, we were at 205. We are all chartered under our umbrella of Blue Star Mothers of America Incorporated. So even though they're their own chapter, they're still under us. So it's a good org, and it's grown. It's amazing. So,
well, I know you're very heartfelt about it in the conversations we've had leading up to this, recording this podcast. I know that your heart is very much in it. And so I'm excited to have it. I know that there are chapters all across the United States. There's some more in some areas than others. And so that you can go to your website, and that is at bluestarmothers.com.
Bluestarmothers.com. And you would go to locate a chapter. There's like a red tab, and you would go to locate a chapter. And when that pops up, you can just put your zip code in, and then that'll bring the closest chapters to your area.
Okay.
And it's really easy to find.
Yeah. Tell me about, I know, like I said, they're more populated in some areas of the United States than others. And then tell me about Blue Star Mothers and what they do.
Blue Star Mothers are mothers who have children that are serving or have served. We send care packages. My chapter, we make veteran bags, like a Valentine's Day or Christmas. We'll make boxes with goodies in it, and just put a sticker on it that says you are loved, and take it to the VSOs or to the outreach to take care of our veterans. We also are a huge support group for each other. If I can get through this without crying. My boys have been out for several years, and they ask, why do you continue doing it? And it's for the new mom whose son just deployed, and she has no idea what to expect, when she'll hear from him. And I continue because of that. And I didn't have anyone to turn on to help me when I first started. I didn't join for the first year, but when I got the notice that my twins were being deployed in 2 different areas of Afghanistan, I almost had a breakdown. And then I came across the article in our local newspaper again and said, I've got to go join those ladies. And from then on, I have found nothing but comfort and guidance and help. And knew I needed to just hand it over to, whenever your child is serving, hand it over to whoever you believe in. Believe in God, hand it over to him. You believe in Jehovah, hand it over, because there's nothing we can do about. Shut your news off, quit watching it. So that's when I got involved. And then I slowly, 7 years ago, ran for a national office and got on the board. And I love helping people. And I think that's where I strive. So I love, if there's a chapter having a hard time, I just had a conversation with a president yesterday, and we talked for over an hour, but it was just to help her understand you're not alone. But she was always told, you don't contact national, you don't call them. Well, yeah, you do, because that's how we got here. Our body voted us in August. And so we're here to serve you. And that's the part I love the most, is serving.
And, that leads me to a question that I have. Tell me about you. where did you grow up? And because you obviously have some great servant leadership qualities, can you tell me a little bit about you, where you grew up? Did you have any family in the military? What branch do your children serve? Just tell us a little bit about your story, so we can kind of get to know you, and because you have a huge heart for servant leadership, and that's what we're all about, is leadership.
Yeah. I grew up in Santa Cruz County, or Santa Cruz, California. I'm born and raised here. My family was born and raised here. My dad was a cook in the Army at Fort Ord. And my uncle was in the Army at Fort Ord. And then my first husband was in artillery at Fort Ord in the Army. And then I always knew the way my boys played that they were going to join the Army at some point, or join the military. But they wanted the big guns. They didn't want the tanks. So they joined. Christopher joined first, and then Nicholas joined second, and they both went infantry. I never thought I was a service person or a leader. I grew up in I barely made it through high school. They really had to push me. I thought, well, just because you miss it, you're not going to miss anything. But I learned quickly that was not true. But I was in band. I loved that. And then I got to be flag captain, and that was like a passion. And then I had children and worked at their schools. I was always, if I'm in their face, they're going to stay out of trouble. So I was a band booster. I was the mom who did the Friday night dinners for the football team. I did snacks for baseball. I just wanted to be a part of my kids. And support them and know what they are doing and where they are at. So that just kind of was in my blood. And then when I joined Blue Star Mothers, I had passion for it and really cared about it. And then I would see and hear women like not understand what they're supposed to be doing or know how to run a meeting. So I really started. Was helping another officer, and I would call the chapter president and say, hey, I'm here to help you get through compliance or get through a correct officer roster. And I was learning that I really enjoy getting on the phone and meeting members from across the United States. And I had so many members go, who are you? And I'd say, oh, this is Stacy Anders, Blue Star Mom, second VP. And they'd just be like, oh, you're from National. And they'd be like shocked that I was calling them. And it's like, no, I'm just calling to help you get through this so your compliance is done and we'll leave you alone. But it really opened my eyes at that point. How many chapters did not feel we were connected to them? And so at that point, one of our past presidents, Ann Parker, and we started mentoring. And we got a mentor chair, and then we started getting members that have been members for several years that were president, and working with chapters throughout the U.S. Because if we don't teach them, they're not going to know.
Right.
So if that's a good service person, well, I'm happy that I'm doing it right. But my goal is to make sure we always have someone to help. And I have been very blessed. Last year and this year, I have a board that is outstanding. They have the organization completely at the full front, and they will do anything. They will, a lot of times we'll hear from members that say, I have a full-time job. I can't do all this. Well, I have my fourth VP is an accountant full-time and has a family and has this job that's very demanding and overwhelming. But yes, because we have a passion for service, we step up and we do it.
Absolutely. And, it's interesting that the information that you've covered, because our leadership program that we do through the museum that General Franks and his wife, Kathy, founded, are based on his four core principles of leadership. And you have covered those without even knowing. They are caring, which Blue Star Mothers obviously care a tremendous amount. Communication. And so this is what you're doing, is calling all the other Blue Star Mothers and communicating. This is what you know, making sure they've got all their I's dotted and their T's crossed, and helping them, because, you know, to effectively run an organization, you have to have bylaws, and you have to have you know, rules about how things are done, and you have to know your bylaws. So communication is very important. Common vision. Obviously, you all have a common vision, and it's so important when you make those calls to your outlying groups that everyone is on the same page and has a common vision. And then the last principle is character. And it's so important to have great character and integrity so that these ladies know that nationals are people they can trust and that are going to help them. And so I love this because of the way you've covered the principles of leadership that we focus on in our leadership program for high school students. So you became very involved through in leadership, basically through your boys, twin boys, right? And when they were going through school, and supporting them, and became involved. And then when they went into the military, and you saw the newspaper article about Blue Star Mothers, and you thought, I want to be involved, I want to do something. And you just carried on that same level of participation that you had had when they were in.
Let me say real quick. I became involved when I had 5 children.
I see.
I have 5 children, and yes, the military boys was a huge part of it, but I had to be a leader for my 2 older children who were in band. That's how I got involved with their being in band.
Okay.
And then we have like an 11-year gap between the kids. The youngest one, who's, you know, but I had 5 children. So that's why I felt the need as a mother to be on top of everything. And, you know, I'll volunteer for that. I'll do that. I'll do that. Because I wanted to know where they were. You know, and they were like, if you're doing the dance, don't you start dancing. And I said, well, I can't promise you anything. If it's a good song, I'm going to be moving.
Yeah.
No, I had 5 children. And just 2 of the twins were in the military.
I see. So you joined Blue Star Mothers, and because you needed that support for yourself, and to participate and satisfy your need for servant leadership, basically. And so did you start at a local chapter and go through the offices and then start at national, or how did you do that?
I wish I could have gone through the levels. I joined, and I think right away our first VP had resigned, so I stepped up to the first VP, and then the second year we thought we were only allowed to run for the 2 years. That's at the national level, though. We were brand new, so we were learning. But the president at the time thought she had to, you know, let someone else run. Had we known the rules for a chapter, we would have probably left her in there forever. But she ended up moving away. They moved up north. And so I became president in 2012, I believe. And nobody would step up. And so at this point, I was president all the way to 2019. But I had said, look, ladies, I have been second VP for 2 years. I have been first VP for 3 years. And I plan on running for national president. And if I run for national president and win, I can't be on the board of this chapter. So someone has got to step up. And so we finally had a mom say, okay, I'll try it. And I said, I'll be here to help. I'll help you. So at that point, that's when I was off the board. So they're jonesing for me to not be a national president anymore. Then I can be back on the board because we have a very small chapter.
I still think that's great, because without the prior experience, you were willing to jump in and figure it out. And I think that's what leadership is about, is just say, okay, I don't really know for sure, but I'm going to jump in here and figure it out. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do a great job and do it right. And that's who I see you as, being that person. Can you tell us a little bit more about your organization, what the activities of Blue Star Mothers? How do we know? Is there a particular way that we know where a Blue Star mother lives? Can you tell us that?
You'll never know exactly. You'll never know exactly where we live. We don't put that information out there. But if you go to the located chapter, it will tell you everywhere we have a chapter. And if you put in your zip code, it will give you the information of the closest chapter to you. And it will give you the president's name, the phone number, the email, and the address of where they meet.
Okay. What I'm wondering about is your flags for your windows, because I think that's really precious.
Oh, our banner flags. And, we have a great song. I'm so honored. Tim Maggart wrote a beautiful song. I think it's called, I know, I hear it in my head, A Piece of Home. And it's about Blue Star mothers hanging their flags, their banners in their window. Hope I got the name right. Don't kill me, Tim. And he's actually coming to our convention this year, so I'm very excited. He wrote a song that tells you everything you ever wanted to know about our banners. The banners started going up in windows of mothers who had children serving in war.
Right.
So when my boys went to Afghanistan, 2 banners went up, 1 for each. And then when Christopher got out and became a veteran, I put up a veteran banner. And then when Nicholas got out and became a veteran, he got a veteran banner. So there's all those banners that mean something, just like the Gold Star banner. We got information of a chapter using a wrong banner. It was just a gold star. It's supposed to be a blue outlined star because that mother was a Blue Star mother before she lost her child and then became a Gold Star mother. So we found out, we were like, we can't be doing that. So we have fixed that problem, but the banners do mean something, and they all have a meaning. There's a silver star for injured military personnel. There's the Gold Star mother. There's the Gold Star wives, the Blue Star mother, and we take. I mean, I have a banner. You can't see them. I have banners. I have a 2-star banner hanging right here. I have a 1-star banner that was given to me. So they are very meaningful. And you hate to get rid of them just because your child's no longer serving. But every time I look at it, it reminds me why I do what I do.
Absolutely. And the Blue Stars are for children, or your children of Blue Star mothers that are actively serving. And the Gold Stars are for mothers who have lost a child in wars. That's correct. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure. So we clarify that because, I think there's maybe a little confusion over the years about it and what it is. And it's so important for us to offer this information today for everyone.
Absolutely.
Let's pause for just a moment to hear from one of our great sponsors.
Hello, this is Jay Zacharias with the General Tommy Franks Leadership Institute and Museum, and I would like to tell you about one of our partner sponsors. His name is Justin Krieger, and he has worked as an independent insurance agent at Krieger Insurance Agency in his hometown of Hobart, Oklahoma since 1999. Justin is honored to help with the annual Celebration of Freedom event and has been a board member for the General Tommy Franks Leadership Institute and Museum for many years. He is also a 5th-generation farmer and rancher in Kiowa County, where cattle, crops, and even insurance is sold with a handshake. Give him a call at 580-726-3076 or come by the office if you would like to speak with Justin Krieger or Kathy Lankford about insurance. We are thankful to our customers and friends who have supported us through the years. Again, Justin would like to say how honored he is to live in such a great country and how proud he is to help sponsor these podcasts. Please enjoy the rest of this podcast experience from your friends at Krieger Insurance Agency.
Now let's get back to our episode. Is there anything, tell us a little bit more about Blue Star Mothers, and then we can talk about how to get involved and that kind of thing. What you know, you're getting ready to go to your national convention, what you will try to accomplish there.
We actually, as national president, I'm invited to several things. I'm invited to the department conventions every year. This year I was invited to Gold Star Mother Weekend. We're invited as a VSO to Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Mm-hmm. And last year we were invited to team up with AMVETS to go and spend the weekend with them and honor our Gold Star Mothers. And for us as Blue Star Mothers, we got these little hug coins and we handed them out. We have a wooden coin that we made this year to hand to them just to let them know that no matter what, they are still our sisters and that we're here to support them and be with them. So like Friday night, we will go down. We will probably be in red because we wear red on Fridays until they all come home. So we will be in her red jackets. Yeah, we've been doing that. It's been a slogan since the war started. Wearing red on Friday. Red, I think they call it Red Shirt Fridays till they all come home. And we have various shirts that are just red. And then the Gold Star Mothers will lay a wreath at the Vietnam Wall. And then Saturday we will go to Section 60, which is where all the latest casualties have been placed. But we just we're all there because we want to support them. Veterans Day is because we're there to celebrate all of our veterans. Memorial Day is to honor all of our fallen. And so we started this last year. We had 17 members. This year we have 30 members going. So we're very honored. We were invited to participate in the Memorial Day parade. And luckily my first VP is coming, so she'll be laying a wreath at the World War II monument. So that's one of the things that we get to do. Yes, we are, because we're chartered through Congress, we have to have an annual meeting once a year. And our deadline is August 31st. So it's just always been in the habit of having it at the end of July or the beginning of August. So August 4th, we're meeting in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, for our annual convention. And
do you know about?
I'm excited. I've never been.
Yeah. How many women are you expecting? How many mothers are you expecting?
I'm trying to be realistic and say I'll be happy with 150, but everybody keeps telling me it might be one of the biggest ones we had. Because it's in Nashville, a lot of people have never been there. I don't know. I have a hard time telling. I thought last year would have been a good one, but it might have been too expensive because it was in California. But it just depends on if the moms have the time off or if the moms can afford it or if the chapters, like this president I was talking to yesterday, I said, you guys can put it in your budget. It's an educational event that Congress is expecting us to do. So you can put it in your budget and then have a bake sale or have a fundraiser washing cars or something to raise money. We tried to sell pasta. Mm-hmm. I don't think we sold very much, but I go, you just do whatever you can to help it, and I said, we did the pasta and we just voted that all proceeds from the pasta sale would go towards convention. Right. So, so that's probably our biggest one. That's our one time the entire organization has an opportunity to get together. The national board has a mid-year meeting every year. And that's when we, like this last year, we went over our different documents to make sure they were clean. We rewrote some that had a lot of like typos or errors in them. Once we got them all done, we sent them to our attorney to make sure that we weren't saying something that we shouldn't or going above and beyond. But it's been a great learning for all of us on the board to have that time to just work with each other. And no, there's no arguing, there's no fighting. The last 2 years we stayed in a house in Myrtle Beach. It slept all of us. We were able to cook our own food. We invited 2 chapters from the area to come and have dinner with us. It's a lot of fun, and it's just more of a bonding and sharing. And then, I mean, when we start working on Friday morning, we start at 9 a.m. and we get done sometimes 9, 10 o'clock at night.
I bet.
So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday work day, and then we all go home on Monday. So
and those
that's
are
about
important. Yeah, really important bonding and communication time. Can you tell us about your charter? You are a certified nonprofit. Can you tell us about your designation, what type of nonprofit you are, what that?
We are a 501c3. Chartered from Congress. We are a VSO, Veteran Service Organization. Anything we want to change that's not on our charter, we have to go through Congress. So we don't change too much too often, because we don't want to go to Congress and Congress go, enough with you moms, we're not doing it anymore.
Right.
They can pull your charter easily. So we look at it, if it's not broken, there's nothing to change. So we try to just do what we need to do, stay above the line, and keep our organization clean and friendly and loving and move forward.
That's wonderful, because I know some of the organizations that I've been in, if you've been around for a long time, there are things that need to be cleaned up, maybe in your bylaws or, in your mission statement. Maybe it needs to be shortened a little bit. So it's always good to tweak those things without overdoing it. So I think that's really important, and I understand what you're doing. So at the National Convention, is that for everyone? Anyone that could go to the website and say, I would like to go learn more about it and participate, or just do they need? You have to be a paid member. Okay. We do allow associates to come, but the associates would have to pay for themselves. Okay. And this year we got a great deal on the hotels. It's only $140 a night plus tax. I'm not going to say what the registration is because I haven't announced it yet. No, that's fine. I just wanted to know, was it but everyone, or do they need to, just go contact the chapter? And so anyone, if you're a member of what will happen is, I'm hoping May 1st, the call to convention will go out, and we will open the tab up on our website. So if you're a member of the organization or an associate of the organization, you can log in and go to convention and register. Okay. Now, if there's women out there that are like, oh, hey, I really want to be a part of this. I need this kind of guidance. I need this kind of sisterhood. They can go to locate a chapter. A member can join any chapter available. If there's no chapter around them, they can say, okay, well, there's nothing really here by me, but this one's 4 hours away. I'm just going to join it just so I can call in at the meeting, or just kind of start getting herself incorporated. And then through time, if she meets 5 other ladies in her area, they can start a chapter
And we have a national 4th VP who will guide them and give them all the tools and necessary material they need to get chartered.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
anyone can join.
Yes. And so tell me, I know the activities you put together, care packages, and what other activities are you do fundraisers so that you can pay for the care packages? Do you get sponsors? Do you have any national sponsors, or does each chapter kind of get their own?
Each chapter gets their own. We don't really have any national sponsors. Our chapters will do a lot of honor flights. They will join Patriot Guard and welcome them. Our chapter gets involved with Operation Surf, which is a great veteran nonprofit that helps injured physically or mentally veterans or active duty reconnect with water. And they teach them to work with water in the ocean, teach them how to surf. You can look at Resurface. It's a Netflix video. Netflix, it's called Resurface. And I've watched men and women tell their story of how their intent was to come to Santa Cruz, learn how to surf, and their bucket list was complete. And they could end. And then I've seen him 3 years later, who is now a veteran assistant to help with the veterans. The water, people don't believe water is a healing thing, but to watch these men and women show up in Santa Cruz and be kind of terrified because they have no idea what they just got into. As far as they're concerned, that water's full of sharks, and it probably is. They go out there and then to see them 3 days later, like we welcomed them in on Sunday, and then Wednesday our chapter made a spaghetti dinner and served them dinner, and just to see them light up and have new friends and feel comfortable and watch themselves actually surf. When you see a man that's a triple amputee get up on a surfboard and surf on his own, it's like he became alive again. So it's a great program. That's one that our chapter works with every year. We do whatever we can. We had great support this year. I think all of our food was donated. So to make their dinner. So again, there's just so many different things. We have chapters that do dinners once a month for like their VFW or their veteran group that's local to them. So there's so many different things that all of our chapters do. I possibly couldn't probably name them all.
Right. And
Go
ahead. I just visited a chapter here locally where we are in Oklahoma, and they were putting together care packages, and not only just for their own children, but their sons and daughters would say, "Mom, can you send an extra one or two because there's somebody in my group that doesn't ever get one." And so, they want to reach out to their comrades and offer the support that they're getting. And I think that's real important. So they make up a lot of extra care packages and send them. And so
the post office has got a little tricky with their labels. Now they have to have a name on every single one I used to be able to send my son 5 boxes. And at one point he goes, "Mom, why are you sending me so much stuff?" I go, "Because I know there's soldiers there that are not getting a basket or not getting a box."
Right.
And he goes, "Well, how do you know that?" And I go, "Because I know across the board there are troops that are not getting stuff." And then, you know what he said to me? "Hey, I have a friend whose wife won't send him cigarettes. Can you find someone to send him cigarettes?" Well, I said, "Well, he's in Afghanistan. I'll find someone." So I had a girlfriend who bought him a carton of cigarettes every month.
Oh my gosh.
You just do what you do. And yes, you do send multiple boxes, but now they want them all to have a name, a service person You just can't say any service person or they kick it back. So that's gotten important. A lot of our moms, when they're doing boxes, constantly, we have a private Facebook page. They will send out a note and say, hey, Ohio 59 is doing care packages. If you've got an address, please send it. And, everything has to be done privately. You can't post it on Facebook. But they're asking. I know we have an Oklahoma chapter. They send boxes every single month.
Yes. Yeah.
Every single month they send boxes overseas or to somewhere. So it's been a great thing. I know it's slowed down. It's never stopped because we always have troops somewhere.
Right.
Out in the Indian Sea or on a boat. So it has slowed down, but it has not stopped. We're still sending.
There's still soldiers out there trained and ready in locations all over the world, ready in the event that they're needed. So share with us a little bit about, I know that there are many Blue Star organizations. You and I talked about that, the General Tommy Franks Museum participates in the Blue Star Museums. And basically what that is that all the museums that participate in that program offer free admission to military personnel and their families, including the National Guard and Reserve, from May 15th to September 6th, when these families are probably on their summer vacation or something. So they offer free admission. Our museum is free every day because we have a Medal of Honor exhibit. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean they have a Blue Star Mothers exhibit like at their museum. It's just that they're allowing them to participate and go through the museum at no cost out of respect to the families. So there are lots of different organizations. Can you tell us, yours is the original, and it is, tell us about yours and the difference maybe from some of the other Blue Star organizations that you might be aware of.
I think we're all basically the same as far as supporting our families. We're mothers that support our children. The Blue Star families, I think, is just that. They're for the families. They're supporting the families. And then you have your Gold Star mothers, your Gold Star wives, your Silver Star families. I think I just recently got 2 different emails. One was Blue Star families and one was Blue Star something. I had never heard of that one before. Are they a 501c and are they chartered through Congress? I have no idea. I haven't looked them up. When we at convention, we picked 3 501c3s that we donate to, and we have to make sure that they are a VSO. And a VSO is making, being chartered with Congress and having a 501c3. So how different we are, I think we're all probably the same because we have that one focus. Yeah, I don't say family because it's my boys serve. I have soldiers. My girlfriend has 3 airmen. So we don't really call them all soldiers. If anything, we call them military. She likes to call them kiddos. But if you're a Marine family, it's Marine. It's they're loud and proud. So that's the difference between the Blue Star moms is they go by they go off what their kids serve in. Are they a sailor? Are they a Marine or an airman or we were Army. Our whole family was Army, so that's all we knew. But I think on the up, as far as difference, I don't know what they are. Maybe that's something I might look into later on down the road. But I just know. I mean, you have TAPS out there. You have so many different organizations for support of lost parents, for children. TAPS, I think, is for supporting children. There's just so many that it's hard to keep up with all of them, and then keep a straight and narrow of your organization. So it's definitely a learning curve, and most of our moms probably get involved with a few.
Now, let me ask you, if you don't mind clarifying, I know that there's been changes since your original charter, but currently who can participate as a Blue Star mom? Not just a mom. Can you clarify that for us?
Yeah, it is a mother, grandmother, stepmother, or guardian who has raised a child who has served or been honorably discharged from the military, from the armed services.
Okay.
So we're pretty much open.
Would be one per soldier, correct? Is that right? One person one
yes.
soldier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought it was important to clarify that. So
yeah, that's kind of where it is. There's been a lot of controversy around that. I think we should allow it, but then, nobody wants to go up against Congress again and say, what does it mean? I mean, we've already been there before, because at one point it said, you had to be honorably discharged. Well, unfortunately, they're learning that there's so much traumatic brain injuries with a lot of our children who are veterans or who are still serving. And if they get themselves in trouble and they automatically give them an dishonorable discharge, it's not fair, because he's obviously hurting mentally. He's having issues, flashbacks of the war, flashbacks of things he has seen in war. So they did go to Congress, and that did get changed to say honorably discharged or has served, because it's important. And to me, I've always felt that's when that mom needs us the most. If she's having to go through something that maybe her child did, she needs us the most. We've got moms whose children committed suicide. They just couldn't take it anymore.
Right.
That's when they need us the most.
Yeah.
That's
an unfortunate
It's really hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
So thank you for clarifying that, because I know probably some people might be listening and thinking, well, it's too bad I'm not a mom, an official mom. So there is an opportunity for those people who have raised a soldier to participate and support Blue Star Mothers. But
anyone could be an associate.
Yeah, one per soldier. So, yes. So
that's basically how it reads that's how they're reading it now.
Yes. So, Stacy, is there anything else that you want to say as we wrap up our podcast? I want to say, as I mentioned first in the podcast, that this will be released the end of April, and so it will be out there for the month of May, which is Mother's Day. And we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of the Blue Star mothers. And we appreciate you so much in what you do. It's very vital and a very important service to our military. And so is there anything else that you want to say, like maybe to your ladies or your...
I have to say, first more, thank you for having me on. This has been awesome. I really appreciate it. To my board, I can't thank you enough for everything you guys have done and how you stepped up to help me get through so much. And to the body, thank you so much for believing in me to be your president. And I've been very honored, and I have learned so much. And I just can't say enough about Blue Star Mothers of America and all of our troops, because that's who gave me the title as a Blue Star Mother, are my two sons. And all my friends who have children who have signed the dotted line and stepped up to serve their country gave them the title to be a Blue Star Mother of America. So check us out, bluestarmothers.com. Look for our website. Look at the located chapter, put your zip code in, and we'd love to have you and see you in the future.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stacy. That's just so heartwarming, and I'm excited to air this for Mother's Day. And thank you sincerely for sharing all your information about your organization with us. And thank you for your leadership and stepping up and just figuring it out along the way and being such a wonderful and dedicated Blue Star mother. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you again to REI Oklahoma for making this podcast possible. For nearly 40 years, the board, staff, patrons, and supporters of the nonprofit economic development REI Oklahoma are committed to expanding Oklahoma's economic prosperity, earning the reputation of being one of the most comprehensive economic development organizations in the country. Business loans, training workshops, business consulting, and networking opportunities, as well as technical assistance and even commercial business space, are made available to Oklahoma entrepreneurs and small businesses. For low and moderate income individuals and families, down payment and or closing cost assistance is offered. Learn more at reiok.org. This has been the 4-Star Leadership Podcast. Now it's your turn, 4-Star listeners. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what you thought of this episode. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast and tune in next month for our next episode that airs every last Friday each month. Go be great.
The LaBar family is a 4th-generation Oklahoma family. That may not sound like a long time, but our grandfathers were born here, within the Comanche Nation, before the land runs. We are the proudest sponsor of the Tommy Franks 4-Star Leadership Podcast. We hope listeners will heed the words of these distinguished men and women who have served our country at the highest levels and across all walks of life.